Welcome back all. So today we are going to deep dive further into our email section. So before coming to this section, we will be doing all the pointers one by one. So let's get started with our first pointer. That is send mail to a user. So for sending a mail to a user, we will be using a dummy or a temporary account to just test whether we are able to deliver our mails or not. So to deliver a mail, let me take one temporary account. To get a temporary account, I will use temp mail, the service. I will just take the entire type temp mail, and that's it, which will give me a temporary mail. And now, after getting this mail service, it is still loading. While the meantime it's getting loading up, let me write my process model. So to write my process model, I will log into my Appian version or Appian community. You might have all the instances with you. Let's quickly go and log into Appian community. I will type in, and now I'm inside my Appian community version. Now we are inside our expression rule. Once we're inside our expression rule or the site, I will just log into my Appian version. To log in, just navigate, click on Appian Designer, and there we go. This is something which I have created earlier. Now, you all know, I think you all guys are senior developers, so we all know how to create an application and what is the purpose of using groups and these object folders here, correct? Now, let me write an expression or let me write a process model to send a mail to on the temporary mail. So for that, I will just create a process model and name it like mail, send mail to send a mail. And let me click on create. The moment I click on create, it will try to open up. And what is our first pointer? To send mail to a user. Now, a user will have its own dedicated mail ID, which is this is the particular user who has his dedicated mail ID. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on save, and instead of hard coding this value dynamically inside this process model, I'm going to create a new constant which will hold email addresses. Okay, to hold emails. I will make a type as email address, and I will go there, copy this mail ID. I will come back and paste it here. Now this can be multiple. It depends upon the use case. Now I will refer this constant at a particular place. I will put this constant here. Now to send a mail, I need to use this mail smart service. So I will type mail. I will utilize this particular smart service, and and I am going to make this smart service as dynamic. So to make the smart service as dynamic, we know this smart service has how many objects. If I go to setup, I can see it has from, it has to, it has CC, BCC attachments. It is reply to, subject, priority, and then we have our template body. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new expression rule in which I'm going to pass a map type of parameter where I can define all these values. Okay, let me just create a map type parameter, expression rules, dynamic, mail, parameters, mapping. Okay, to map dynamic mail parameters. Let me click on create. The moment it is done, the moment it is done, now I can define the parameters like a band map, what it has normally two CC, VCC, documents or attachments, then body, then we have, what do we have? We have subject, correct? We have all those things. Now, once we are able to pass those things, it means we also require these things as input parameters. So I'm going to define few parameters here. Let me click on this particular plus sign and create a new input. I am going to define form. Now, in case of custom form, we can have it if we have our DKIS enabled, but right now we don't have access to admin console, so I'm going to use it as process model. Correct? I'm going to use form. Who is going to send mail? My process model is going to send a mail to who, with whom I'm going to send a mail. I'm going to send mail to this particular address. Then CC attachments. If I don't have, I will keep it null. Then I have this priority. I will have a subject line. Subject line, I'm going to add a subject line here. Why? I'm going to make it more dynamic subject line. Then I have my body. Now here, it depends upon you how you are able to create your templates. Let me complete this thing here. 2. Let me type R2S RI Bank 2, comma, RI Bank CC, comma, RI Bank VCC, comma, RI Bank Docs, comma, RI Bank Subject, RI Bank Body. And that's it. And here we go. Here we have defined all the parameters here.
So, as we were able to understand, so most of you were having questions like from where I have written this to CC BCC, and I believe we all know that these are something called as rule inputs, and we can define rule inputs by pressing our smart functions Control I or by pressing on this plus icon, correct? The moment I have, let's suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 rule inputs. So I will create a 6 rule inputs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will type 2, then CC, and then BCC. Then I will type docs, and then subject, and then I will type body. Now, this is a universal fact that two CC and BCC are going to be email addresses. Either I can make use of text or I can make use of email address. Okay, I'm going to make use of text here. Now, docs. Docs are something which are called attachments. Attachment means document. So I'm going to make use of document here. Okay, then my subject is a text field, and so my body is a text field. And here we go. We are able to create a fully functional thing in a map type parameter. Now documents can be multiple also, so I'm going to check this thing and so on. After doing this thing, I'm going to click on save changes, and now we are ready to fire up our first POC. We know that we had opened our temp mail from where we have received one email address which we have mentioned here. Now this can be any XYZ random address. I don't want to use my personal mail address, therefore I am using a third party service called temp mail from where you can also get your service addresses. Okay, it's not a big thing. Now the moment I click on cancel, I will go there and I am going to create my process model as dynamic. So what I am going to do, I am going to take a input as a map type of parameter, which will be a parameterized variable, map mail, and this the type is going to be a map. Okay, and it is going to accept a value from a parent parameter, and I click on OK. Now, as we know, this is parameterized variable. It means we can consume this process, and we will consume this process into our parent process. Let me set up the basic things here. Delete my process after 1 day. I'm going to make it 1 day. Alerts, because I'm using community version, so let it give mail to the initiator. Deadlines, fine. Variables, fine. General, let me make it a proper based upon the subject line. So let me write the proper display name as concat send mail. Then what send mail, comma index. Why index? Because we have turned this thing into a map type of thing. So I am going to display my subject which has been delivered by the mail. So I'm going to type index of PV bank mail map comma subject comma null. So what it will do, whatever subject we have sent, so in the instance we will be able to easily capture this subject based on a subject and what mail has been triggered. Now click on save, click on OK. Let me click on validate, and yes, now most of the things are done. Now we need to just map it properly. To map it, I'm going to from where it is going to come. It is going to come from process model. Who is 2? 2 is my index of PV bank mail map comma 2 comma null, and that's it. Have I used 2? Yes, I have used 2. Similarly, I'm going to put the same thing into my CC. Let me put it here, CC, and same thing I'm going to put it in my BCC, and same thing I'm going to put it my attachments. In case if it has any, I will be able to get those things from here. What is my attachments? Attachment is my attach. Let me go there and let me paste it here. Click on save and close. Now here comes the game changer, the subject. We have defined our subject into sub. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to say index of what? PV bank. Which PV bank? I can see from here it's mail map. Okay, PV bank mail map comma double quote subject comma null. And similarly, if I would like to have my attachments with me, I will type body. I would like to have my body with me. I will type body. Let me click on save. Now, so let me just copy this thing from here. Click on save, and let me click on this expression editor and insert an expression from where I can get this thing. I can get this thing from my body. I will get it from here and then paste it here. Okay. Now, as we all know that this session is for advanced developers, because see, if you want to do a simple mapping, it was not of any use to do all these things, and a simple 2cc or subject would have worked. But we are creating a solution for the enhancements and for the future use cases also. So in that way, we are going to create it in such a dynamic manner that if tomorrow we would like to consume this process, I don't need to again rewrite the whole code, and I will be able to utilize this whole process within me. Let me click on OK. The moment I have clicked on OK, if I go to validate, and here I can see this process model contains no errors. Okay. See, in the previous sessions or the the upcoming sessions, if you would like to have, you can connect with us. We know activity chaining, but we also know that emails are kind of an asynchronous process, because these does not create a huge impact. These are just for the communications purpose. These create a huge impact because they deliver a value, but it is not like it need to be activity changed or it need to be done. So therefore we have not enabled the activity chaining. Now, after performing all these operations, let me go to file and click on save and publish. Now, till now, because I had clicked on save, it was in draft mode. But the moment it has published, a new version will appear here, which says version 2. It means now this particular process is my full-fledged fire ready to be fired. Let me create a new process and fire this thing. For that, I will just go here and create a new process model. PM send mail P1 part 1. Okay, to get inputs to send mail. Now what is this process going to do? This process is going to take inputs from some external UI or anywhere. Right now we will be giving it as a hard-coded way, but in the upcoming sessions, because we have discussed, we will be creating a POC. So till now, just focus on this thing. We are going to give it some value, and then from this value, we are going to trigger our base process model, which we have designed, means this one, which is going to fire our things. Let me click on create. The moment I have clicked on create, it has start created the process model. Let me click on use save, and there we go. Now, what I need to consume this process, but before consuming this process, let me create a way so that I can get these values input. So what I will do, I will go to a named rule. I will type it rule bang my name. Okay, I will type its inputs. It says to cc. Let's suppose if I don't want to keep anything in cc, bcc, then I have docs, and I have subject, I have body. Correct? That's fine. Now, where I need to send this mail to, from where I will give to, this is my temporary mail. I will copy this thing. Why should not I will not copy? What I will do, I will go here and copy this constant name, because I have entered this value into this constant, and I will pass this thing here, const bang the value. Okay, now the moment I click on test, I'm able to see, okay, this is how my data comes like. Let's suppose I don't want to have some docs or attachments. I will remove it from here and again click on test. I don't need CCBCC. I will remove these things also from here and click on test. So the moment I click on test, these things are also gone. Okay, now I will go to my subject. Subject is learning, or let me just go there and copy this thing. Send email to user. Let me copy this thing and commit here. Now we are working in certain time zones, and I want a time zone with this thing also. So what I will do, I will type concat comma. First I will get my time zone. To get a time zone of anything, I will use locale function. Local means local what? Local will take now. With now it will take the user time zone. Okay, and then we will convert it into Greenwich Mean Time Zone GMT. And because we wanted to use it as like a text, so I will use text over that with the function comma dd mm yy with hh mm and ss, which is going to give me the full-fledged date at which this particular instance is triggered. And now here comes my body. I will simply type this is a test mail, and so on, and we are good to go. I will copy this thing from here. First I will try to trigger it or test it. I am able to get, okay, this mail has been triggered on this thing at this particular time. If I want a AM or PM, I can also get that thing by just typing this thing. I will get, okay, it is triggered at this particular time period. I will make this copy, this dynamic thing, and paste it here inside my expression rule. I will take a script task, paste it here, define it, go to outputs, create new custom output, define this thing here, and I will create a mail map, or let's say mail body. Okay, and what I will type, remember we had given it like a map type, so I'm going to give it a map, and that's it. Click on OK, and we are good. Let me do the same data management properties here, because that is required. Go to data management, delete process after 1 day, alerts, it's going to be a sent to the process initiator, variables, general, who is general here, process display name P1, and let me make it P1 means let me make it concat uh, P1 comma PV bank mail body dot subject. Am I correct? Is it sub? Yes, it's sub, and then I'm going to close this thing. Okay, okay. Let me again click on validate. This process model contains no errors. I'm going to publish this model. Save and publish. It is published. Now let me see after debugging this process model. Start process for debugging, and here it goes. Okay, let me go to instance and see what has been triggered. Okay, this process model has been triggered by this particular user at 3:79 a.m. If I open it, I will go to process details, and from the process history I can find that these are the properties which it has taken. But to send a mail, these properties also need to be mapped. So I'm going to click on close. I'm going to click on close. I'm going to close this thing here. I'm going to close. I'm going to make use of process. Now we have a session. Why to use start process and why to use sub process? For the better thing of the load balancing, I'm going to make use of start process. I'm going to put it here. Now, which start process do I need? I need PWM send email. I will go to setup and I will type process model as PWM send. Let me PWM send mail. The moment I have done, it has showed me its parameter, what it has. Let me go there and let me select this parameter, and that's it. Now I click on OK, and I believe we are ready to go. Again, I'm going to publish this process model. It will take a little bit of time, and then I'm going to trigger this process model by in the debugging mode. So what I will do, I will go to file, start process for debugging. Now the moment it has triggered, I will go back to my monitoring way and I will click on refresh. I can see, okay, this process model has been triggered, and after triggering it has created an issue. What is the issue? I will go back and see to process details, errors. It says no valid recipient resolved. Very good. It means it is not able to find this thing as a proper text. So let me do one thing here. Let me go to edit process view, go there, properties, setup to, let me open that and let me convert this to email addresses. Okay, and then let me try to trigger this again. Let me click on file, then apply changes, close it from here and start it again. Let me see if that is a potential issue or not. Okay, that was the actually the potential issue. Okay, now it has sent a mail. Now I will just go there and I can see a mail has been triggered from this process model at 3901 am, which says this is a test mail. Let me fix the process model. I will go to file, open process model, open send email, setup. Let me put it here to email addresses, the function to email address, close it, click on save and close, file, save and publish. And again, let's try to trigger this process model. To trigger, you can use a shortcut function, that is Control D. Okay, the moment we have triggered, it has also triggered a few instances in the backend. We will go to the backend and see. I will just came to monitoring tab, refreshed, I can see that this was the mail which was triggered, and after this mail was triggered, it created a sample response which triggered this mail. Now if I go back to type mail and I go back to list, I will see, okay, let it refresh the mailbox. So I can see it from here that the email has been easily transferred or triggered on this particular address with this body at 3:11 a.m. If I go there, I can see at 3:11 a.m. this was the old mail. This is a new mail which we can see from here. Now, as a bonus tip, once this sessions is completed, we will also learn how can we debug and trace out the roots in case any issue happens in our process model path while running the iterations or while running the process, or how can we handle those things in bulk. So for such an awesome updates, stay tuned, keep learning. That's all for now for the day one. We'll meet soon.